Naghahanap ka ba ng Nqesh 2021 reviewer? Tara, tulungan kita. Sa iyong FB account, i-type mo sa search tab yung Nqesh 2021 online reviewer. Piliin mo yung may green na langgam. Then, hit like and send me a message. Ganun lang kabilis. Magre-response ako sa'yo. Pindutin mo na rin itong mga frequently asked questions para masagot ang iba mong katanungan. Subukan mo na rin mag-follow sa ating YouTube channel para updated ka ng mga videos araw-araw. Pindutin mo na rin itong description para makita mo iba pang link sa ating videos. Good luck! Tara, review na tayo! Tanong na ito, pag-aaralan natin kung paano konektado ang mga department orders sa mga Republic Act at kung bakit kailangan nating magbasa at magbasa. Nang sa ganon ay masigurado natin ang inyong pagbasa sa Nqesh 2021. One early morning, a very concerned mother is complaining in your office. She narrated that yesterday, on his son's way home from school, riding a private van with fellow grade 7 schoolmates, his son was bullied, which ended to being seriously injured. As a school head, what will you do? A. Document the report and organize the Child Protection Committee to investigate the incident and provide the appropriate intervention to the bully. B. Document the report and have the Child Protection Committee call for the concerned parents and students. C. Document the report and have the Child Protection Committee refer them to the local PNP upon investigation. D. Document the report and give sanctions to the bully. Nag-utos ng DepEd Order No. 55 Series of 2013 ang Implementing Rules and Regulation na base sa Republic Act No. 10627 o ang Anti-Bullying Act of 2013. Ipinaliwanag ng DepEd Order na ito na ipinagbabawal ang bullying sa mga lugar na nasusulat dito kasama na ang lugar na malapit sa school o sa mga pribadong sasakyan na accredited ng school. Ngunit sa ating tanong, ang insidente ng bullying ay nangyari sa lugar na malayo na sa school. Sinabi ng nanay on his way home at sakay siya na isang pribadong sasakyan na hindi naman accredited ng school. So bilang school principal, dapat ka bang umaksyon? Dahil nga may na-report na bullying case sa inyong school, so dito tayo sa Section 10 ng DepEd Order No. 55 Series of 2013. Ang sinasabi niya dito, ang anumang bullying cases na nangyari sa school ay dapat na resolbahin at nasa jurisdiction ng departamento, and then hindi dapat magkaroon ng amicable settlement sa barangay. Sinasabi pa niya na kung sakali man na mayroong ma-report na bullying sa school, dapat na unang gawin ng napagreporta na school personnel ay dapat na ipatigil o mapigil ang bullying, and then mapaghiwalay yung mga batang involved, and dapat maalis doon sa senaryo, sa lugar, yung bata, yung biktima at yung bully or offending student from the site. So in other words, paghiwalayin. And then siguraduhin na safe yung biktima. At yung nagbully dapat na mapadala sa guidance office or sa designated na school personnel. Dito naman sa letter B, yung reporting ng bullying incident and retaliation, sabi dito ang biktima o yung bystander. Kasi tatlo ang involved sa bullying, the victim, the bully, and the bystanders. Dapat na mai-report ang insidente na ito sa teacher, guidance counselor, or coordinator, and then or any designated person or school personnel na dapat na magre-record noong kanyang bullying incident. At ang insidente na ito ay dapat na mai-report sa school head o sa principal, na sa ganon ay mabigyan kaagad ng aksyon. At sabi nga dito, the school head or the designated school personnel shall inform the parents or guardians of the victim and the bully about the incident. Ang susunod na procedure ay ang fact fact-finding and documentation na. So, hindi dapat na pinaghaharap. Ang sabi dito, separately interview in private the bully or offending student and the victim. Yan, hindi po dapat sila pagharapin para mas makuha natin yung tamang mga impormasyon. Determine the level of threat and develop intervention strategies. So, na-interview mo na, nalaman mo na yung pangyayari, then bigyan mo ng intervention. Nabanggit din dito sa DepEd order na ito, ano nga ba yung mga interventions? Kaya I suggest you have a copy of this DepEd order. Maganda po siyang basahin. And then, inform the victim and the parents or guardian of the steps to be taken to prevent any further acts of bullying or retaliation, and make appropriate recommendation to the Child Protection Committee on proper intervention, referral, and monitoring. So, ganun po karaming dapat nating sundin kapag may bullying incident. Ang gagawin naman ng Child Protection Committee is to determine the appropriate intervention. Katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, mababasa nyo rin po dito sa DepEd order na ito, yung mga intervention programs na maaaring gawin ng school para ma-prevent o masolusyonan ang mga cases ng bullying. So, eto na po ang napakalaking partisipasyon ng principal. Ang sabi dito sa letter E, referral, the school head or the Child Protection Committee may refer the victim and the bully to the trained professional outside the school, such as social workers, guidance counselors, psychologists, or child protection specialists, for further assessment and appropriate intervention measures as may be necessary. Pero, the school head or the designated school personnel shall notify the Women and Child Protection Desk of the local PNP police if he believes that appropriate criminal charges may be pursued against the bully or offending student. Now, paano mo malalaman bilang school principal, paano mo malalaman na dapat na talagang ipadala ito, i-refer ito sa local PNP? How will you know that the bully committed a criminal charge against the victim? Basahin po natin ulit. Ang sabi dito sa letter H, applicability of RA 9344 as amended and other related laws. Sabi niya, if the bullying incident or retaliation resulted in serious physical injury, which is binanggit ng problem natin, na yung bata niya, yung anak niya ay nagkaroon ng serious physical injury or death, the case shall be dealt with in accordance with the provision of Republic Act 9344 or the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act. In other words, hindi lang ito simpleng bullying case sa school, hindi lang ito simpleng tuksuhan, ang konting sakitan. Meron nang tinatawag na serious physical injury. Kaya kailangan nang gamitin ang Republic Act 9344. At ano nga ba ang sinasabi nito? Ang Republic Act number 9344 na may short title na Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006, nagsasabi na it covers the different stages involving children at risk and children in conflict with the law. Dito po papasok yung bata na nambuli na naging cause ng serious injury ng schoolmate niya. Sinasabi ng batas na ito na ang minimum age of criminal responsibility ay nasa 15 years old or under at the time of the commission of the offense. Sinasabi ng batas na ito na a child 15 years old of age or under at the time of the commission of the offense shall be exempt from criminal liability. However, the child shall be subjected to an intervention program pursuant to Section 20 of this Act. So, lumalabas po na yung ating estudyante na nambuli ay pasok dito kasi grade 7 yung kanyang grade level . Ang sabi ng Section 20, if it has been determined that the child taken into custody is 15 years old or below, the authority which shall have an initial contact with the child has the duty to immediately release the child to the custody of his or her parents or guardian, or in absence thereof, the child's nearest relative. Said authority shall give notice to the local Social Welfare and Development Officer, who will determine the appropriate program in consultation with the child and to the person having custody over the child. If the parents, guardians, or nearest relatives cannot be located, or if they refuse to take custody, the child may be released to any of the following. Ay, kawawa naman bata ito. Pwede siyang i-release sa NGO, pwede din sa barangay official, pwede din sa local social welfare and development officer, or when there is appropriate, the DSWD. Ito na nga po, ito ang gagawin nila. The procedure for taking the child into custody, Section 21. From the moment a child is taken into custody, the law enforcement officer shall explain to the child in simple language and in a dialect that he can understand by why he is being placed under custody and the offense that she allegedly committed. Inform the child of the reason for such custody and advise the child for his constitutional rights in the language or dialect understood by him or her. Properly identify himself and present proper identification to the child. Refrain from using vulgar or profane words. Avoid displaying or using any firearm. O nga naman, bata yan eh. Refrain from subjecting the child in conflict with the law to greater restraints than is necessary for his apprehension. Avoid violence. Determine the age of the child pursuant to the Section 7 of this Act. Dapat malaman kung below 15 ba siya. And then, determine and immediately but not later than 8 hours. Hindi siya pwede palang i-detain, no? Na more than 8 hours. Immediately, but not later than 8 hours after apprehension, turn over custody of the child to the Social Welfare and Development Office or other accredited NGOs and notify the child's parents and guardians and Public Attorney's Office of the child's apprehension. The Social Welfare and Development Officer shall explain to the child and the child's parents the consequences of child's act with a view towards counseling and rehabilitation, diversion from the criminal justice system, and reparation if appropriate. Kung ang sagot mo ay letter A, hindi ito pwedeng maging sagot dahil ang biktima ay nagkaroon ng serious physical injury. Kung ang sagot mo ay letter D, hindi pa rin ito pwedeng maging sagot dahil kahit ang bully ay mayroon pa rin siyang karapatan para sa due process. Kung ang sagot mo ay letter B, hindi pa rin ito magiging sagot dahil ito naman ay sakop ng option letter C. Kung kaya, ang tamang sagot ay letter C.